Live now to Paula McEwan, the President of the Educational Institute of Scotland, joining us from Inverclyde. Thank you very much to you for coming on the programme. It's quite shocking, isn't it, the figures from this? What do you make of it?
It is shocking, and the Cabinet Secretary can't ignore and hasn't ignored the results of the Scottish Government survey. But the EIS issued a survey last Friday. We issued the results of that last Friday, and it echoes the results of the Scottish Government's findings. 82% of our branches have said that violence and aggressive incidents happen in their workplaces at least once a week. Something has to change. We've got 70% of our profession who are saying they would consider moving out of the profession. So we're looking now to the Scottish Government to act on the results of both surveys and to put additional funding into our system.
It's not just violence between pupils either, is it? I was seeing this report from the Teachers Union, the NESUWT, saying that there's been a significant amount of misogyny, bullying and intimidation from school pupils to the teachers, so that the female teachers are more likely to be suffering physical and verbal abuse than the men.
Yes, absolutely, and the EIS survey echoes those results too. Misogynistic abuse is on the increase. We knew that. What these two survey results show is that we now have the evidence to show that what we were hearing anecdotally is correct. But misogyny in schools isn't new. The Scottish Government have a Tackling Gender Violence in Schools working group. They're due to report in the next 2 weeks. They have an equally safe policy which looks to eradicate violence against women and girls. So they knew that this was an issue, but it isn't just an issue in schools. This is a wider societal issue that needs to be tackled. It's manifesting in schools, but it needs to be tackled elsewhere too.
Well, the Education Secretary has been blaming the pandemic and the cost of living crisis. Do you agree with that? Is there something in that?
There's something in that it has exacerbated what we were already seeing, but before the pandemic came along, we were seeing increases in violence and aggression in our schools. So absolutely the pandemic hasn't helped. I think the rush to be recovered hasn't helped. I think we are still in a period of recovery, and that has to be recognised too, that the fallout from the pandemic is still with us.
What exactly would you like to see? I mean, as you say, the Scottish Government's established this working group to develop this national guidance, as it says, to prevent and respond to gender-based violence in schools. But what exactly would you like to see?
So we would like to see a national definition of what violence and aggression is. There isn't one of those at the moment. We would like to see a consistent approach to reporting and supporting teachers and school staff across 32 local authorities. We have 32 different ways of working across Scotland. We would like to see additional funding in schools. So the Cabinet Secretary announced a £900,000 of additional funding today to support teacher training. That won't touch the sides. That equates to about £360 per school. We are looking for much wider funding. We are looking for additional teachers in schools, additional support staff, and additional funding for the wider systemic support that we should be able to look for in terms of educational psychology, in terms of social workers and mental health support. Our young children and young people need help. They are lashing out because of frustrations, because something isn't working for them at that time, and we need support to make sure that that doesn't happen, to make sure that we can mitigate what's going on with them.
Okay. Well,